family law, and we just need to ensure that your case meets certain criteria before we bring you on as a client.
Sure. Okay.
And so what I'll do is I'll talk to you about your situation, and then obviously just see what's kind of going on. If everything sounds like a great fit, then we'll go over the cost of the retainer, and I'll answer any other questions that you have at that time. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, thanks for hearing me out on that. How did you hear about our firm?
Instagram.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're able to find us. Just to let you know what we do here a little bit, we focus on 4 types of cases, which are divorce, child custody, child support, and domestic violence. Our main mission here is to guide fathers and men through the court system while we protect their assets and relationships with their children. Is that kind of align with what you're looking for?
The thing about it is that there's a domestic violence. No, there's a domestic violence restraining order on top of everything. Everything you just described, well, including my divorce, including custody, none of it has been able to go through because my ex-wife's supposed need for safety has gone through all due process. It's basically it's completely denied my rights for due process.
It's so funny how men really say they don't
supposed need for need for protection against me.
Gotcha, definitely. Yeah, I saw like when you booked earlier, I was looking forward to trying to talk to you because I saw that you had a case number, and I tried to look it up, and I think you gave it to me a little bit wrong. That's okay, I'll get it from you in a second. But yeah, I want to get into the situation with you because domestic violence is obviously a really big allegation. So, I'm going to ask you some questions about your case. So, what is your ex-wife's name?
My ex-wife's name is Laura Ortiz.
Laura Ortiz?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, brother. How long have you guys been married for on paper?
I think 7 years, but we were together for a total of 12.
Okay. How many children do you guys have together?
We have 1.
Okay. And so your case is out of San Diego. When's your next court date?
September 3rd.
Okay. And last thing I was going to ask you. So I know the case number, I think you just put it in here a little bit wrong. Could you repeat that to me?
Sure.
Do you have it on you?
I have it. Yes. It's It's 2 3 F D V O 1 5 6 3 C.
Okay. Gotcha, man. Well, I know you got this hearing coming up for this domestic violence, and this case number looks like it's from 2023, so it looks like you've been going to court for a bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what's going on? How can we help you out?
Okay, so the important legal issue, the domestic violence case has been used it happened when we were still married. My ex-wife basically has used the restraining order as a means to get 100% custody for the max amount of child support when we filed for divorce. Now, she's never actually served me divorce papers simply because, she's been protected by the restraining order from approaching me. But yes, she has set court dates without me. There have been custody dates without me. There have been all these court dates that I've never gotten proper notification for, dates I never ever knew about: custody, divorce, property, split assets, things like that. And I haven't because my ex-wife's safety, she's basically given her justification to completely deny me due process. Now, for the past 3 years, when the restraining order was only extended for 3 years, I had visits for about two times a week, 1 to 2 times a week, on Wednesday and Sunday, and eventually those kind of moved from overnights every other week. Now, when the restraining order was extended, it was extended. It was basically, I lost every non-professional supervisor. I lost all phone in communication all phone and communication situation ability, and my super, and because every non-professional supervisor, they put basically I got 5 hours to see my son once a week that had to be professionally supervised, and it's created a situation, a financially impossible situation where I can maintain a relationship with my son. Because of the financial restraints, I'm no longer able to keep anything within 30-20, which is equilibrium between both parents. I cannot maintain a relationship when the cost of supervision takes 2/3 of my income. Now I make about $3,800 a month, and for 5 hours a week, it comes about $2,000, which is more than 2/3 of my income. Which basically this restraint order and visitation limitations that I have basically made it literally impossible for me to maintain a meaningful relationship with my son, which I've been completely denied. And it seems that the original domestic violence doesn't have any. What happened with domestic violence? That there was clear examples of perjury on my ex-wife's statement. She said that I said things in text message that I didn't actually say, because I actually gave the judge screenshots of what was actually said. So I had proven that my ex-wife had committed perjury. But what basically happened is I was denied 538, which I think is which basically says she needs to serve me. She never served me. She has given me during every trial. She has always used trial by ambush, basically flooding us with 10 to 80 pages of evidence that we're supposed to move forward with about 5 minutes during the trial. She's always completely denied 598, and also a lot of that evidence, the 80 pages, were a complete denial of 356, which is completion. She falsified evidence, basically showing that I had only parts of conversations, and leaving out the entirety of the which is also. But every law that's been broken by my ex-wife has basically been looked over because of judicial discretion. Under judicial discretion, even though I have no records of violence, under judicial discretion, this restraining order was made permanent, regardless of the fact that my ex-wife committed perjury. Because of judicial discretion, and maybe 3011, best interest of the child, the judge had decided to basically bypass the fact that she was lying. Under judicial discretion, she was able to bypass completion and present 14 examples of incomplete evidence. Under judicial discretion, this restraining order was made permanent with no records of violence. And it seems that I don't know what it is, and I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me as well, that we're eventually going to have a discussion, because she said, if you want to see your son, you need to go to counseling, you need to go to therapy, and you need to go to these classes. And every single counselor, every single therapist, every person that's on one of these court lists seems to always say a phrase: I will write you you come to my class, I will write the documents to the judge, and you'll be able to see your son. And then they tell me then we talk for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then they tell me how much it's going to cost. And I usually tell them that I can't afford that. And I believe you as well are eventually going to tell me this as well, that well, if you don't pay for my services, you're not going to see your son. Good luck with your case. And yeah, that's been every supervisor, that's been every counselor, that's been every therapist, and that's been every lawyer. So I'm going on a limb and probably going to say that you're probably going to charge me about $25,000 for which you'll probably tell me is how much it's going to cost to put you on retainer. You're probably going to tell me hourly you need about $500, which is basically about what I make in a week, so your lawyers can work for an hour. But if you look at the case, and the thing about it is I've actually paid for consultation, paid for legal advice, and when they actually go through my case and look through my case, they say this is probably going to be about, I looked at all of it, and it's probably going to be $250,000. So a lot of people usually tell me a lot of lawyers usually tell me, yeah, I went through your case and it's probably $250,000 just because of the length of how much it is. And if I were you, I would just wait till I would try to maintain a relationship with your son as best as you can. And when he turns 12, he can talk about his visitations. But as long as this restraining order exists, you're probably not going to see your son. Not going to see your son unless you're willing to pay for all of the judge's demands. Which I'm sorry to say that the counseling, the therapy, and if you're back on child support, you should also pay that as well.
Okay, I mean, I appreciate you obviously sharing everything with me. One thing I kind of, so if you've been going through this for a while, because I figured this was like a newer case, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter, right? We could still potentially help you out. But if you have been given if you've been given this advice before from other firms, and you kind of know that someone's going to charge you a retainer that you potentially can't afford, then what was the reason for you booking the consultation with us?
Oh, I just wanted to see. Well, you already said that you're not actually a lawyer. You're not here to give legal advice. I'm just trying to hear. I'm hoping that maybe one of the judges will actually call me and say, "Hey, this is what you should do." I have been able to get a few judges on the phone, and that have not brought up, have not hit me with the money shot, and they said, "Yeah, you should just go to therapy. You should just go to therapy, and that's it."
Well, what I mean is, like, you obviously know we're a family law firm, and you booked this consultation with us, knowing, the email that you were sent says that I'm not a licensed attorney, but the goal is that you would potentially become a client with us if you'd like to hear what we have to say, right?
Well,
so if you know that we're asking for a retainer of some sort, then what is the reason for calling us? Because if you can't afford it, then I'm just trying to understand, right?
Well, I thought we might be able to work some type of pro bono. You would be able to you might be able to analyze my financial situations and possibly try to see, because I am a 100% disabled veteran. And if I can speak to I don't know, if I can speak to doctors or outside consultants within the VA counseling or so, that there might be an opportunity that you can represent my case through VA funding.
Okay, I got you. So I'm just going to be really transparent with you. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to do anything like that, but I don't want to make you feel like I'm not trying to help you out in any way. If you're looking for pro bono, or if you're looking for legal resources, I can potentially point you in that direction. But unfortunately, we don't offer any pro bono at our firm at this moment in time.
Okay, well, so, I have talked to VA legal clinics. I have talked to the bar. I have talked to the local legal clinics, and they all say that we can't help you, but we can recommend you to someone who does private practice. Are you private practice?
We are a full scope law firm. Private practice doesn't necessarily mean that we would still be able to help you through VA funding unless they were able to basically pay your retainer and pay everything that comes with your case. Is that what you're getting at?
You know what? I have talked to the VA clinic, legal clinic, and they did not make any suggestions such as that. They basically said, because of the intensity of your case, we can't take it, but we can suggest you someone who does private practice. Now, I have called those private practice, and this is where most of my spiels usually come from. Everything I've already said is basically come from numbers that they basically gave me when they told me I needed $25,000 to put them on retainer. Are you probably saying that you are likely to need that kind of money from me in order for you to take my case or even look at it?
We would have to take a look at everything before I could potentially quote you, but just to let you know, we usually start out with a $5,000 retainer, and then depending on if you're in trial or how intense the case may be, we potentially might have to up it to $7,500 or $10,000 starting out cost. But again, we would have to take a look at everything. That's not a decision that I'd be able to.
Well, that case is about the size of a Stephen King number, because my ex-wife keeps applying the same evidence over and over again. So basically, when you're going through the case, you're going to keep seeing her giving the judge the same evidence over and over again, and it doesn't have any relevance, but it's just a matter of trying to overflood the judge or any lawyers with an overwhelming amount of paperwork. This is how she's basically alienating my son and locking and basically gatekeeping and what's the word I'm looking for, paywalling my way out of any legal relationship I can have with my son.
What's your upcoming court date for your hearing?
It's about
your case is private. Like, I don't have access to it. I looked it up. And
really?
Let me look in. Yeah, it's. I think the record is sealed because I put it in the way you gave it to me on the court website this whole time, and it just doesn't pop up anything. So, what's your next court date for?
The 3rd of September.
No, and what is it?
I think we're there. We're going to be there to try to discuss like who we can possibly put on as far as non-professional supervisors. But yeah, I don't have a list of people. This is this is me trying to change my visitation rights so I can maintain a relationship with my son. But my ex-wife is fighting me throughout the way. Her goal seems to be to remove me from her life and my son's life completely.
But you're not in a trial or anything like that right now, right?
Are these court dates under the like scrutiny of liberty? These are still court dates, and these are still court proceedings.
I know, like hearing. Is it like just a typical hearing, or are you in a trial? That's what I'm asking you.
I'm sorry, I don't know the difference. I know that I sit in front of the judge. I know I take an oath to tell the truth. So I don't know if this next trial day is even a trial or it's a hearing, but I know they don't record anything.
I assume that you are probably in just a typical hearing to discuss the non-professional supervisors for your custody. Okay, so if you want us to potentially help you out with this hearing on the 3rd, it is something that we can do. But I'm going to be very honest and transparent with you that this is not going to be a free process by us, and we would charge you a retainer to start for $5,000. I'm not telling you it's going to be $25,000. I'm not telling you it's going to be $250,000. None of that. I'm telling you that upfront cost is $5,000. It's most likely going to be more than that, just depending on how the case goes. That is something that our attorney will go over with you, and they'll be very transparent with you.
What about
now? If that's something that is feasible for you, we could potentially do it. But if you think that that's not affordable for you either, then unfortunately we just wouldn't be a good fit because that is just what we charge.
Okay, now what about representation? Because I really would like to be able to not go into the courtroom and say something stupid. You understand that I am autistic, so that's the reason why I'm able to basically TED Talk these things in a way that's somewhat.
Sure.
So yeah.
That's okay. We would be offering you. That's what I'm saying. We would be offering you representation if you were to pay a $5,000 retainer to start. Uh-huh. That would allow us to represent you in this case, and we would be prepared to represent you in the 3rd as well. Mm-hmm. But it's not. But that's just the upfront cost. Meaning, I don't know how much your case would be.
Okay.
So if you want to hire us, it would be $5,000 to get started, though.
Okay, and what I also wanted to know was, I've been doing all this filing myself. And frankly, I think that I wouldn't ask you I wouldn't ask any of your lawyers or paralegals to do these filing for me because I live right downtown. Simply, I would think that I would want to, you just treat me like another paralegal and I will file this paperwork myself.
That's not something that we would be doing. We would look at your paperwork. If it meets the court's criteria, if it looks good, we'll go ahead and let you allow to use that. But we would be a full scope law firm, meaning that we're not going to treat you like a paralegal.
Okay, so
you're our client, and we would go through everything with you. But it would end up being that we would be the ones to prepare the paperwork for you, Eric.
So you're the one going to be the ones who's going to be delivering it. You're the ones who's going to be sitting in on the 4th floor downtown, waiting to file. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Our firm will handle everything for you. We're a full scope firm, so if you end up signing up with us, we'll take care of all of that.
Yeah, that's not a. I've done that before. I've done the whole thing where you show up at like 7 o'clock, and so you can file and get everything in. And I've also done the thing where you've waited for about 3 consecutive days because the fourth floor can only take care of maybe about 60 people a day. I mean, no, actually, more like 30 once since I counted. But yeah, on a Friday, it's definitely like 20. But yeah, I was just like, I wouldn't ask you to do that. I've been taking the legal forms. I've been writing them myself. The only thing I really would need is someone to tell me, is give me legal advice. Like, you should go down and you should file this and you should write this. And then on the court dates, I would prefer somebody to sit there next to me so I don't say anything stupid.
Right, I understand that, but our attorneys at our firm have to also protect our credibility as well. I understand you do a lot of the paperwork and filing on your own, but if we're attorney of record on your case, if we are your attorney and you are our client, we are the ones responsible for the paperwork and to make sure that everything is filed. That does not necessarily mean that we're going to waste your money and sit there for long periods of time and not get things done. We have an office in San Diego.
These people don't care if you're a lawyer. They will make you wait all day, and they'll tell you to come back the next day. And okay, so I basically have already paid for the entire day, your entire day of work, because you couldn't do anything. You kind of understand. Have you been to that fourth floor? Have you been to these legal places where you try to get legal advice from these paralegals and you try to file? I mean, they.
I don't think, Eric, I don't think you're going to be able to find any attorney that is going to say, okay, yes, I'll represent you in court, but you're going to do all the paperwork on your own. And if that is something that you want to do, then you would be looking for a limited scope attorney.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
We would be the ones to prepare all the paperwork for you. If you don't want us to do that, or you don't want to pay us to do that, then that's totally fine. That's not a problem. That just means that we're not a good fit for one another. But I'm trying to work with you on this. Mm-hmm. I've been talking to you for the last 20 minutes, and
yeah, we have 30 minutes.
Like you want notification, and it sounds to me like you do want to hire us potentially, but it doesn't seem like you really want to have the entire services of a law firm.
Yeah, I mean, I really want this restraining order dropped, because this restraining order was dropped under no pretenses or records or any evidence that I've ever been violent toward my ex-wife. It was made almost completely under judicial discretion, and that's why that's why I think I would have a case if somebody other than me was representing my case, because unfortunately I'm autistic and I'm not liked by I am very much not liked by the judge.
When is the restraining order supposed to expire?
It expired. It expired about a year ago, because the original one was 3 years, but it was extended for 5 years. So that's going to be another 4 years. But there was no record. There has been and there wasn't, and there never has been any records of domestic violence. I don't even have a criminal record, and the first time I showed up in court was the first time I'd even been in a courtroom.
Okay, but legally, procedural-wise, since you've been doing this for a while, you understand that there's no way for us to get it dropped if you already have a 5-year restraining order.
There's no way.
It doesn't work like that.
There's no domestic restraining orders are supposed to be extended are supposed to be originally implemented because of a record of violence. There has been no violence. It's all been judicial discretion. Just because I'm intolerable, because I'm socially inadequate, they said, we don't like you, so we're making the restraining order permanent, and you get your ass to therapy.
Okay, but we wouldn't unfortunately be able to go to court and ask them to drop a restraining order. I thought you wanted us to help you with the third, which is the hearing for the supervised visitation.
No, I'm trying to get the restraining order dropped, because none of that can happen, because my ex-wife's safety goes over. It seems to be going over 30-11.
I don't think we're going to be a good fit, unfortunately, brother. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to end the call, okay?
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.